What's up? What's up, everybody? It's your man, Governor Wildstar. Hey, how you doing? And welcome to the Black Side of Liberty. I appreciate each and every one of you out there tuning in to this wonderful conversation I have with a very special guest who I'm going to be introducing to you in just a second. But of course, first, you know what to do. Head on over to my new website, Wildstar2022.com. Yes, I have a new website. Let me show that to you here if I'm able to bring it up. All right, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Yes, I got a new website. Y'all head on over to wildstar2020.com and please make sure that you make a donation today. I am doing my best to hit that fundraising goal of $10,000 so I can become the next governor of California. And I can't do it without each and every one of you out there doing everything that you can to contribute in every way possible. So if you can donate, please be sure to click on the donate tab right here at the top of the screen or whatever the case may be and check it out. You can also volunteer to help out with the campaign. So be sure to fill out one of these pledge cards so you can get involved today. But like I said, visit my new website, wildstar2022.com. If you're out there watching on YouTube, definitely be sure to subscribe, hit that bell below, hit notifications so you can receive video updates as to when I drop more videos about not only my campaign, but more of these Black Side of Liberty videos and other shit that I'm going to be going through or whatever the case may be. But be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube. And if you're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and you haven't connected with me yet on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, please be sure to visit my new website, wildstar2022.com, and click on any of these social media icons at the top. Be sure to connect with yours truly, okay? Let's grow our audience and expand. Let more people out there know what I'm doing to help bring back liberty to the state of California, okay? But with no further ado, I'm going to be introducing to you my guest because he is short on time. He's out there running an active campaign to become the next Senator of District 10 in New York. His name is Michael Madrid. And Mike, welcome to the Black Side of Liberty. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Thank you.
Excellent.
Audio difficulties before. Just one thing, I'm running actually for Congress in NY10, not Senator.
Oh, pardon me. Okay, well, correct me there.
No problem.
He's running for Congress District 10 out there in New York. And his information is right there at the bottom of the screen, Madrid, the number 4.NYC, correct?
Yes, that is correct. Thank you.
Excellent. All right. So people, you know what to do. Definitely visit the website, connect with my man, Mike Madrid. But in the meantime, let's get to know him a little bit better. Now, Mike, you are a libertarian running for Congress out there in New York. And I stumbled upon you by doing a little homework on candidates that are running nationwide. And I'm glad to see that you're out there being active and want to represent we people. And like I said, I pretty much just found out about you as a candidate, but I would like to know more, you know? So please, if you could tell myself and the viewers out there, who is Michael Madrid?
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction, Nicholas. As you said, my name is Michael Madrid. I'm running for Congress in NY10 against Gerald Nadler, you've probably seen on TV during the impeachment things. It's a bit of an uphill struggle, but we're doing what we can to try to get the message out of liberty, of free market economics and things like that. Through most of my career, I've been a software developer, but I've also had a very deep interest in economics through my entire life. Both of these professions, we like to make things simple, not simpler than they need to be, but simple. We like to break things up into pieces. We like to have solutions which are practical and pragmatic. On the economic side, what does practical, pragmatic, simple solution means? It means markets. It means not having the government dictate solutions. It means allowing people like you and me to decide, well, I have something to offer and you have a need, and we can contract with each other and come to a solution where both of us are able to reap a benefit. So that is just a little bit about me, about how I got to libertarianism. I think a lot of people get to libertarian through various paths. For me, it was more economics than other things, but at the same time, things like the having making drugs illegal, making sex work illegal, for instance. These are never things which made much sense to me. So that, in addition to the market economics, made libertarianism a very easy sell for me.
All right, cool. Well, it sounds like you're going to be a great spokesman for the Libertarian Party, and with you running for Congress, you definitely got a lot of footwork to put in, because I'm pretty sure you said your district is Manhattan,
Yes.
Brooklyn,
Yes.
all those areas, wonderful areas in New York. But with this
Yeah.
whole coronavirus lockdown deal, I'm pretty sure it's had its hit on your campaign as well. And also, a lot of things are happening out there in New York to also deter you, because you have a mayor out there, Mayor de Blasio. He's pushing all sorts of regulatory things like, let's see here. He's installing checkpoints, COVID-19 checkpoints. You also have the governor of New York issuing quarantines on certain states like California, trying to deter people from gathering together for the holidays. The list goes on. You got curfews in certain areas, as well as mask mandates, and possibly soon a vaccination mandate as well. So I wanted to ask you about that. With all of what's going on, of course, with this whole coronavirus thing lockdown, well, first, what issues in particular will you address once you get elected? You mentioned sex work and drug laws, how these definitely need to be decriminalized. So are those first on your agenda, or do you have more that you want to be doing?
Oh God, I mean, the whole agenda would be very, very long. But if I am elected, part of it is choosing pragmatically, making impact where I can, and certainly, we've made a lot of progress with drug laws. There is momentum there, so I would definitely lend whatever efforts I could to that fight. Sex work maybe a little bit down the road, because it's not right in everybody's consciousness right now. Certainly, policing is kind of taken a step backwards, I think, in everybody's mind, versus where it was over the summer, for instance. But certainly things like qualified immunity, which Justin Amash is pushing, would be things that I would be very interested in pushing also. And there are a whole host of other issues. I just will mention very quickly the Jones Act, because I always mention the Jones Act. But that's a somewhat obscure shipping law, which really hurts U.S. shipping. It makes U.S. shipping very expensive. Hurts Puerto Rico. You often hear about the Jones Act during Puerto Rico hurricanes, places like Hawaii, and the economy and the environment. So all of those issues are important. Housing is another big one. Housing is one where it's the issue which radicalized me. We just have way too much legislation which does not let us build housing which the community needs. And that means rents stay expensive, and we have a lot of homelessness. So, all of those issues are important. What I'd focus on is the ones I feel I could make the most impact quickly.
Absolutely. And you did mention in there also about you being involved in the Black Lives Matter protests and
Yes.
qualified immunity for police officers. And I guess that's one thing, I guess, that's growing in New York, is the concern over the police officers, which is this large standing army. I don't know. I think you have hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of officers, it seems, out there in New York.
Yeah, not quite millions, but we do have a lot of officers.
A large police force.
Yes, we do have a lot of bureaucracy. And right now we have a situation where we have a police force which says, oh, we can't do anything about a lot of different things, like, noise complaints, for instance. They're not going to touch noise complaints. They're not going to touch a lot of nuisance issues because they say, oh, we're not empowered to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a lot of lawlessness going on. A lot of people have gone back to the police because they say, well, without the police, there's a lot of lawlessness, and we have to unleash the police again. And I think that is an oversimplification of what's happening. We need a police force which obeys the law first and foremost.
Absolutely.
We need a police force which respects. I mean, first of all, they have to know the law. Sometimes they don't even know the law. They have to obey the law, and they have to respect the law. When we have those things, then it's the time to say, okay, we put our trust back in you, and please do your job.
But that seems to be another issue. Like you said, there's a lot of laws that are legislated and put on the books, and people expect them to fix things or correct it in some way. And especially with criminal justice reform, people believe that if you are able to legislate equality, that it will essentially make all of these issues go away, even with sex workers and with people of the GSM, LGBTQ community, etc. Pretty much they believe this. So I want to ask you, since you are running for assembly, right? For Congress, pardon me, that you have the opportunity to legislate and make these changes for people according to their demands. Is there a way to legislate equality to where it's even and fair for all?
I mean, I think anti-discrimination laws are fine in a lot of cases. We don't want discrimination against people, and I think we should all say, Black lives don't matter, things like that. Obviously, as you're saying, sometimes it is difficult. Sometimes the actual legislation is worse than the cure is worse than disease, and when you get into very micromanagey type laws, sometimes you result in more discrimination and not less. Certainly, there's a lot of tension between the cancel culture type things and what is freedom of speech. So you have to be careful whenever you are doing legislation like this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then there's also, redlining laws that prevent people from living in certain areas. They have
those are absolutely hard. I mean, redlining, the zoning laws, those we can just get rid of.
Yeah, you would hope that would be the case, actually to fight them is a whole nother story. So I guess that's what you aim to do as a legislator once you do get into Congress,
Yep, sure.
What I was wanted to rewind back to was what I brought up before about this whole ordeal with all of the mandates, the crazy mandates that we're hearing coming out of California, out of New York. And they seem to be reflective of New York. These Democratic governors are imposing their will upon us pretty much in a tyrannical way, in an authoritarian way, without consulting legislators and abusing their constitutional powers. So I wanted to show you this quick video. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it's right here. Let's see, on Instagram. I ended up coming across it, and you tell me what you think. Let's see.
You're breathing in my face. I'm the one wearing a mask. You have a glove. You have a face mask. I'm talking to the owner here. You can park it in the front. Then I looked up and you have over 10 people in a crowd.
So what?
Now it's an issue, okay?
What is the issue? Exactly.
The issue is...
This is not a party, there's no music. This is simply a simple thing. They have a few words together. What is the issue that you need supposed to come into my house and tell me that it's okay for a police officer to walk into my house and say it's okay? When you are the police officer, you know the laws, you know the rules. You can't walk into my house and tell me that it's okay. You would have been a normal person who would have walked out and said, okay, can I talk to you? Fine, I can listen to you. Instead, you're just backing that up again and again.
We're past that. We're past that point. You tried to slam the door. Yeah, he tried to slam it on me. I'm trying to talk to you as a person. No, we didn't know.
You were standing here when I came down. I didn't see anything. That's not what down. You guys came down.
As he's looking out the door.
So that's pretty much it. It's just a clip from that video. But you now have police officers pretty much forcing their way into people's homes and, imposing these COVID-19 restrictions. And like I was just saying, things have kind of gotten out of control there in New York. You have the mask mandates. There's a possible vaccination mandate that's being discussed as well. So do you support these COVID-19 mandates? And if so, why? And if not, why?
Well, let me just say that there seems to be evidence. The best evidence we have now is that masking does help. So as a matter of personal responsibility, I urge everyone to please mask. When we get into mandates, there's a little more difficult situation. As a pragmatic matter, I mean, obviously, we want businesses to be able to set their mask rules. So if the business does not want you in without a mask, that should be the business's decision to enforce that policy. And people going to those businesses should respect those policies. In terms of things like the subways, if it does help to control spread, then I'm fine with mandates as long as it is not enforced in a cruel and unusual fashion. I think, as you get further and further into saying, shutting down businesses and things like that, it gets a lot more hairy, shutting down schools. Putting on a mask is not really that huge of an imposition. So unless you have a really good reason, I think as long as we're not overstepping that, as long as we're not doing so, in a cruel and unusual manner, I think
I gotta say with that, and you're being a little bit wishful in your thinking to assume that there won't be any force used when New York police officers have historically been proven to use excessive force to impose these laws that aren't really laws, they're recommendations, because in order for that law to be
on the subway, it is a law, and it is one which unfortunately a lot of police officers do choose to break.
Now, was that one that was legislated or one that was imposed by the governor?
Imposed.
Exactly. So it's not a law. It was a dictation by your governor. And and when it comes to personal will and personal freedom, just looking at the facts, I mean, the numbers don't lie. The coronavirus has a 99% survival rate. They're not talking about the people that have actually contracted corona and have survived. They're more so focusing on the people that have died to impose these laws upon we the people. So with regards to the mask mandate, it sounds as if you're supportive of that. Let's fast forward to the other ones as far as
in some places on the subway. Yes, I would, as a pragmatic matter, I do support it on the subway. Not necessarily on the streets. I mean, on the streets, there's a lot of ventilation, so there's really no reason for it.
And as you saw in the video, it was somebody's home. It was a private residence.
That is a completely different matter. That is someone's private home. The police should not be there doing that. And really, some of the regulations regarding some of the Jewish neighborhoods, for instance, where they have seen more cases, have been very, very haphazard. They are saying that, for instance, places of worship cannot have more than 10 people in them. And this is regardless of whether the place is designed to hold 20 people or 500 people.
Right.
So if you have a huge space which can hold 500 people, there's no reason to limit this for 10 people. So the law, you can object to the laws themselves and object in certain circumstances. But if you're going to do it, at the very least, do it in a logical, minimally invasive fashion, and that really has not been happening. So that's been a huge imposition on some of these communities.
And even the guy in the video, he was saying, you're supposed to know the laws. You're the police officer.
Yeah,
but like
exactly.
The majority of these police officers don't even know the laws themselves. They're just responding as they were trained to do.
Yep.
So
And they can do whatever they want because there's never any punishment. So if they misinterpret the law, if they do something they're not supposed to, oh well.
Exactly. Well, and that's another one of the mandates. You have curfews in certain areas. Bill de Blasio, the mayor of, I don't know, New York, I guess, which city. But yeah, he's imposing curfews in certain areas. Like I said here, these checkpoints that they're having, COVID-19 checkpoints, and with the discussion also of a possible COVID-19 vaccination mandate, they could turn these checkpoints into either you're going to get the shot or not, or when they're going into people's houses talking about, you got to get the shot. So are you supportive of a vaccination mandate as well?
Not necessarily, although depending on schools, perhaps. Should you be vaccinated to go to school? Well, maybe. Luckily, we have seen that in younger kids, there's a lot less danger for the disease. So maybe we can get by without it. But this is one where I'd like to see what science does have to say, because if it does spread to people, that is a problem. So this is one where I'd like to be pragmatic about it.
Absolutely. But again, if we're talking about allowing people to have freedom over their own bodies, and not only that, for adults, parents to have freedom over their children,
sure,
we should be the ones, because you're a father yourself, we should be the ones to say what goes into our children's bodies and if it's okay or not. Even if they say it's okay for them to attend school, we'd have to bend to their authority in order to have our children be educated. And now here in California, that's actually a law. In order for kids to attend public schools, they must be vaccinated. And in order for any personnel to be working with children, they must be vaccinated. So they make it a mandate. And we're again talking about a vaccine that hasn't been tested thoroughly.
I don't think there's not a mandate right now, is there? Because there's no vaccine.
I know. I'm just talking about them development of the vaccine and then possible mandate later on down the line. Because if California, a state that already forces people to get vaccines, to have that, to work in that profession, and to also again attend schools and get your education, there's no reason why they wouldn't just slip in the COVID-19 vaccination when it becomes available. So with the possibility of that also happening there in New York, I'm saying when it comes to people having the choice over what they want to do, government is stepping in to be the authority to say it's not about what you want to do, it's about the greater good, and we're going to make that choice for you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if this were a private school without making those restrictions, we probably wouldn't object, right? If they said, either vaccinate your kid or you can't attend our private school, we probably wouldn't object. So I realize there is a little more sensitivity with public schools, but this is one where I'm saying, if there are clear benefits to the vaccine, then I think we have to consider it. And with all these policies, if it is ruled by clear benefits, and obviously, you can say it's a slippery slope. I think sometimes it's more of a pendulum. If it gets too ridiculous, then people will say, okay, let's not do this anymore. So these are all difficult issues where the freedom there's some freedom on some side and some freedom on the other side. So I think the pragmatism.
But that's the thing. Is you don't see much pushback from the public. They seem to just become subjects to their authority, and they don't want to contest any of these laws or mandates being imposed upon them.
I think if people were getting vaccinated and a lot of people were getting sick for no reason, then you would definitely see pushback.
But how would you tell? You got people lining up for trial vaccinations, and even Anthony Fauci, Dr. Anthony Fauci or whatever, the nation's doctor, just came out and said this vaccination that may be just a trial may not get rid of the virus altogether. It may just treat the symptoms of it. So it's still just being tested. But we're going to start first with our kids. And
well, once again, this is science. People are saying inject my kid with an untested vaccine. I will definitely be pushing back against that. At some point, if it is deemed to be safe and it shows that it is working, that's time to consider something else. But so, if you put an untested anything in my kids, yes, absolutely. I would object.
Now, I'm not trying to be an alarmist, but again, the Dr. Fauci himself said in order for a vaccine to be completely proven to be effective, it takes a trial test period of at least 7 years. He said this during the Senate hearing. So it's on record that it at least takes 7 years, but they're fast tracking it right now through the Donald Trump administration, and they're pushing this vaccine. But the companies that are producing it, like Moderna and Pfizer, and now Kodak, picture company, is getting taxpayer money to develop this vaccine. So it sounds more so like it has to do with money making, profit over people, as usual. So,
well, there definitely is that. I think they're potentially two different things, but yeah, the Kodak thing. Kodak is New York. Donald Trump loves it. Our Governor Cuomo, of course, loves it because it's based in New York. I just don't understand how things like this get done. And this is
legislators like yourself to get in there and they succumb to the I guess environment or pressure from their peers saying we got to pass
something.
Yeah, we got to do something instead of just
do something.
Because they're really not doing much anything to help us, but more so to hurt us, especially with these lockdowns and quarantine. Now if you travel from California to New York, you got to be added to that quarantine list, which I believe is a 14-day quarantine. Are they putting people in jail? Are they housing them up in hotels? I mean,
I think this is another law which they're not enforcing very much. If they are, it's being done very haphazardly. So it's another law you might wonder, maybe this just isn't something which is at all practicable, so don't do it.
And see, maybe we are just getting conditioned to accept it, and the next generation, it will be imposed upon them, and the following, until it just becomes the norm for you to be vaccinated, do what your government tells you to, be in quarantine, stay 4 to 6 feet from people, and in the environment where there's more space, like you said, to have 10 people, but you see this happening. But another grumble in the streets is a pending civil war, especially with this election going on. You have the Republicans saying, or Trump supporters, I should say, saying that if Trump doesn't win, we're going to hit the streets and, there's going to be war. And then you got people on the left, the Democrats, saying, well, if Biden doesn't win, we're going to, hit the streets and there's going to be civil war. So with all of this talking, again, people that don't want to have a vaccine forced upon them, it's like a growing group of dissenters in many factions, and people that are pro-state saying it should be okay. Just, do it for the greater good. It's not that harmful. So why don't you just comply? But you have people out there that are willing to put their lives on the line and fight for their own personal freedom. So with this growing concern in the community and all of our neighborhoods across the country about this threat of civil war, do you think that we the people should start preparing and prepping ourselves for a civil war, for something to possibly happen?
I have not started my Civil War preparations yet.
You better stop now, brother.
It's, I guess, possible. I really don't see it happening. I think there are we have too many institutions, we have too many people, we have too many things to lose, that it is not going to happen. Certainly, we have seen riots. We'll probably see more riots. You know, we saw a lot of riots in the 1960s too, and somehow we survived those. And a lot of the issues there were, you know, civil rights, for instance, were, I think, a lot more divisive and a lot worse than we have now. So I think we will get through it. If it does get worse, then I will.
You still sound
have you started your civil war? Have you started your civil war plans?
Yeah, Skippy. Shit, lock and load, ready to go, baby.
Okay. Well, if we get bad, then I will email you and can maybe give you some tips.
New York is a long way from California, brother, but I'll meet you halfway.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, well,
let's see that catches. All right.
Okay. That you have my back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just a lot happening, and I went out to a libertarian event over the weekend, and we had a discussion about this. It was a group of us, and their friends were saying it. You know, friends that are supporters of Trump, friends that are supporters of Biden are afraid of this being an actual outcome, and it seems like it's not really being considered, and a lot of people could possibly get caught off guard were that to happen in their very own streets. And it's sad that you have a lot of Americans willing to just sit by, watch it happen, and you know, let this war play out itself, and then in the end just see where they fit in, so to speak. But it's a growing concern in the community, and it's sad that our government on both the right and the left aren't really doing much to kind of simmer things down and get we the people, have them become united, you know. So it's a very frightening thought, and like I said, there's many factions involved in that. You also have growing white nationalism, different groups on that front as well. And I don't know if you consider yourself Antifa, since you've been out there, you know, fighting against fascism. But, you know, you have those people also that think Antifa is a group, an organization, and anybody that wears black, and we're going to hurt them, you know. It's sad to see this happening in our country, but it's happening right now in our streets.
Yep. Yeah, it definitely is. No, I do not consider myself Antifa. I do not consider myself a white nationalist either. I am a peaceable person, even when the police. I was at a Black Lives Matter rally, Union Square, and I was taken by the police for the sin of objecting when they were grabbing some people on some city bikes who were just trying to get through their lines. I did object to that. I did not object with violence. I just said, please just let them through. But the signal had already been given, so they just took us. And I don't know, I guess I must be a very fearsome individual, because it took 4 cops to push me to the ground, even though I wasn't resisting.
You see?
If I'd been resisting, they probably would have needed the full force. But, you know, I was not there to do violence, to loot, to do anything like that. I was just there to register that I'm not happy with the things which are going on, and I'm not happy with the police presence and some of the things they were doing.
Right. And but, then you also have anti-authoritarians. You know, they're seeing the growing militaristic presence of the state, you know, imposing their will upon us, like what you experience, and that's where you get you know, people like the Boogaloo crew popping up and saying that we're going to fight against this by any means necessary. So with what I was saying, with this election coming up, and with people both on the right and the left feeling like they're stuck in the 2-party system, and not feeling like they're going to be able to have some peace come from this election, why wouldn't people vote libertarian? Especially seeing as, you know, we're kind of like the ones that walk that fine middle line between the two and have the opportunity to bridge that gap between these political polar opposites. So why wouldn't more people consider to vote libertarian and take the easy way out, so to speak?
Yeah, well, people are, it's very hard to change people's thinking. They have a lot invested in their either Democratic or Republican label. A lot of their friends, a lot of their social life revolves around having these labels just as much as, belief in anything, whether it's God or belief in not God, or, so there's a lot of social pressure to be one way or the other. I think libertarianism itself, we really have to coalesce a message, and I think we really need to coalesce around a little bit more pragmatic message. You can believe taxation is theft and messages like that, and maybe it is true in certain cases, but I don't think messages like that are going to win over large portions of the population. Quite frankly, I think it scares some people away. If you believe taxation is theft, I think the best way to fight that is to fight against government programs which waste money, because that's something which is very easy for people to see. And if we're spending less at the end of the day, we can tax less. And so there will be less theft. So I would like to, for us to be very pragmatic in what we're suggesting, so that we really can bridge this gap between people who, if we're a little bit closer to what they are looking for, and and they can see, wow, why is the government spending money on these horrible things? That is just so easy. Then you can get less spending, which gets less taxation, which results in less theft. But once you kind of say that sort of thing, it makes it, I think, a lot more difficult for people to really resonate, for the libertarian message to resonate. So I think we have to, really coalesce against, a set of pragmatic messages which can appeal to a large part of the electorate. And I was online today. We have early voting here in New York, so I have been talking to a lot of people online, and there is some resonance. They're like, I'm happy to take a look at your platform, because I really don't see what the duopoly is offering me. But I was talking to a guy who's very sympathetic to the libertarians today, but he said the same thing. It's just the ideas are just all over the place, and if we can't coalesce against what I would hope would be a pragmatic set of ideals, then.
But you just said, even speaking to this one person, he broke it down to just saying the ideas are all over the place, excluding taxation is theft, which I support. You would say that whatever message that it pretty much wasn't resonating with this guy, because he was so stuck in that duopoly mindset.
No, this was resonating. I think he will vote for me, but he was just making the more general argument that he finds sometimes the libertarians are all over the place. And, we know how libertarians are constantly telling other libertarians that they're not libertarian enough. So I think we have a little work to do to kind of, pragmatically, how do we get to a more libertarian state?
But even what you were saying, as far as, because you have your work cut out for you, you're running as a libertarian, but against a Republican and a Democrat, and with people again being stuck in that duopoly mindset, how can they see you as being the easy alternative to both of the parties, the one that will actually bring them a little bit of both what they want? You can say Black Lives Matter, but are you going to change the policies that have actually affected Black people and, all people that have been under the authority of this excessive police state? And the Democrats, of course, aren't going to change that. But you got the people that are stuck in I must vote Democrat will continue to vote for their damn Democratic candidate. And on the spending side, you got the damn Republicans who just don't see a Republican or a libertarian as having a shot. So you got to kind of find those no party preference people or independent thinking people that want to get away from that mindset. You can even come in as a libertarian and say, I'm all about freedom, which libertarians across the board seem to agree on, no matter how much of a libertarian you think you are, or whatever the case may be. It's supposed to be about maximizing individual freedom and limiting the size and scope of government. So you can come in and say something like that, and people still receive it as being radical, because you have the progressives, the Bernie-crats saying, we need more government. We need free healthcare. We need free education. We need free this. And they want more government to create that for them. And the same thing on the right, people wanting more of a police state to come in and impose these laws and enforce these laws upon free people who don't think the way that they do. So when it comes to messaging, the libertarians seem to, again, will only attract those people that are ready to let go of all of what they think they know. Because it's not just one way to fix things, right? There's multiple other ways. They just haven't chose the libertarian way. Yeah.
Well, I think there are potentially many different ways to get that message. And quite frankly, I don't know what the, what's the killer libertarian message, which people just say, oh, yeah. I have tried, the message which I have been pushing has been simplified. It's not something which people are going to say, oh, you're a crazy libertarian. But when I say something like simplify, and I say, for instance, why do we spend so much money on foreign wars and on the military? Why do we have this drug war, which just does not make things better? Why do we put people in jail for small amounts of marijuana? And why do we have occupational licensing regulations, which prevent qualified people from getting jobs? Why does someone who's doing African hair braiding need a cosmetology license, which has absolutely nothing to do with African hair braiding? So what I'm trying to do is come with a message which they're not going to be suspicious of in the beginning, give them a bunch of examples, which they probably agree with, and then ask their saying, yeah, I agree with all this stuff. You say, that's when you hit them with, and that's the small government message. We need to be doing a lot less, allow people to do things more. So, you're not trying to, come right off saying freedom, freedom, freedom. You're trying to come to something where the end of the message is freedom, 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 not the beginning. So, I can't say, we'll see how I do. We'll see how much this message has resonated. I'd like to see a lot of different libertarians try a lot of different messages, and let's see what works. Because I think some of these things, like decriminalization, like occupational licensing, like less military, resonate with a lot of people from a broad spectrum. Certainly a lot of people in my district who are very liberal. These messages resonate. And if we can get them on these messages, and then say, and by the way, the Green New Deal and Medicare for All, these are kind of large, complicated things which might not really result in what you think they are. And
exactly.
A smaller approach would be better. So that's what I'm trying to do to, kind of spoon feed the message first, but in the end, get them to realize what it is we really are talking about.
Right, exactly. Well, I got to tell you, your message, your approach to messaging is a bit more timid than mine. I'm really wild with mine.
It's not timid. It's
you got to be in their face, and hopefully people will. All they need to have you in their face is to see you on the ballot, and they will choose to vote for you instead of one of your opponents, because it sounds to me like you're a better option when it comes to at least changing things up and wanting to see something different from our government for once. And it would be nice if people actually just considered that above all else. We've seen what the Republicans have done for decades. We've seen what the Democrats have done for decades. Why can we not see what the libertarian option can do just for a year, just for what, you know, and were you to get elected to Congress, I believe what your term limit would be 2 years or something, right? Okay, so 2 years. I mean, give this man a shot for 2 years. Michael Madrid, you guys running for Congress out there in New York.
2 more years. I mean, 2 years.
All right. Well, Michael, like I said, I really do hope that people consider to vote for you. And I will be promoting you, and hopefully you will be getting elected on November 3rd. So I certainly wish you all the best, and thank you for being here on the Black Side of Liberty.
Okay, wonderful. And thank you very much for having me, Nicholas. I really enjoyed our conversation today.
Pleasure. Same indeed here. That again, ladies and gentlemen, was Michael Madrid, candidate for New York Congress, District 10. So please be sure to check him out right here at the bottom of your screen, Madrid, the number 4.nyc. That's a pretty cool damn website link. I wish I could have did the same thing for mine out here in California. But New York, you got your chance to elect that man. So please check him out right here, Madrid 4, the number 4.nyc. Find out more about what he has to offer for you as an elected representative. And of course, I could definitely use your support as well. Like I said, I got my new website up, which is right here, Governor it's Wildstar2022.com. So check out the new website, Wildstar2022.com. Click on the donate tab. Please make sure to make a contribution today. $5, $20, $22, you know, for the year 2022. Give me an opportunity to get my name on the ballot and do what Michael Madrid is doing. Give we, the people of California, another option to change our political landscape. We need to see something completely different, something that we've never seen before. And I'm a lot more radical on my messaging. So please check out my platform, see what I have to offer, especially my Gold New Deal, which flips the Green New Deal on its head by making sure that we, the people, are benefactors of those resources and government plans and options that they're presenting to us. So check out the new website, Wildstar2022.com, okay? And like I said, make a donation today and connect with me and all that good stuff, of course. And also be sure to get involved in the recall effort. We are recalling our governor out here in California. Our Democratic governor sucks, probably as much as Governor Cuomo, if not more than. So we want to get him out of office now. We've already started the recall effort. So we need you out there to help get us all the signatures that we need to get him out of office. We need 1.5 million signatures before November 17th. And we are steamrolling that effort on to that goal. So please definitely, like I said, hit up recallgavin2020.com, visit the website, print out that petition, sign that petition, get a few friends and family to sign as well, and then send that petition in as soon as possible to the recall team so we can get him out of office now. Get me in there. Like I said before, I am a candidate running for governor. So find out more about what I have to offer, and maybe we can switch things up from these Democratic rulers here in the state of California. And also get involved with We Have Rights. We are a nonprofit organization. I've been working with them on getting involved in making sure that we can put pressure on our elected representatives like Governor Gavin Newsom to let him know that he has an oath to uphold to we the people of California. And we've been able to mobilize tens of thousands of people throughout the state to go out there and let them know that they work for we the people, not the other way around. So get involved with We Have Rights by visiting the website, wehaverights.org. And of course, be sure to make a donation so you can get one of these cool shirts right here for $25. You can get one of these cool shirts and some bumper stickers and all sorts of shit. So hit them up, wehaverights.org. And you know what to do. Definitely come back tomorrow and get a psychic reading from my wife, Crystal Wildstar. Lady Wildstar will be right here on the Governor Wildstar YouTube channel. So come back every Wednesday for Crystal Wednesdays, and tomorrow this Wednesday, she will be right here again, like I said, on the Governor Wildstar YouTube channel. So please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, or head over to her Facebook page, Crystal's Healing Arts on Facebook, and her website, crystalhealingarts.com. So come on back to the Crystal Room Wednesdays and get a mini psychic reading from my lovely wife, Lady Wildstar, okay? And definitely be sure all of my beings of light, art, culture, and knowledge come back on Thursday, where I will be speaking with another wonderful guest, Dr. Shannon Kroner, who is a clinical psychologist and also the founder of For Us, Freedom of Religion United Solutions. And we got a lot of questions for her, especially with, again, these pending vaccination mandates on the horizon. We want to talk with her about that, how she feels about it, her organization, and the psychological mind of these people in control of our country, as well as the welfare of we, the people of America. So come on back, where we will be speaking with Dr. Kroner here on the Black Side of Liberty. So all of you out there, I truly appreciate you for watching. Please come back next time. Let's talk, drop some comments, questions. And until next time, long live liberty, y'all. I'm up out of here. Peace.